Hi, everyone. Welcome to Tuesdays with Terry, Real Estate Talk. We'll give people a few minutes to log in. Tonight is episode 8, the importance of comps and reading MLS sheets. We're going to go through MLS sheet section by section. I also want to let everybody know that these Tuesdays with Terry episodes, they stay up on the Facebook site, South Florida Property, www.facebook.com /South Florida Property / and just go to videos. You can also go to our real estate channel, and you can see these videos along with our success stories. Those videos are also available on the website. Coming up in 2 weeks, we will have an episode on probate and trusts, and we will have real estate attorney Paul Krasker will be on live with us, and also it'll be taped, and discussing the ins and outs of a probate or a trust transaction, what pitfalls there might be, what myths there might be. And then soon after that, we haven't finalized the date yet, but we will have somebody talking about credit repair from Credit Brain, and also student loan repayment plans. So that'll be coming up in a few weeks. We're going to get started here with, let me bring up the next slide. Oh, there we go. Okay. Tonight, we're going to talk a little bit about comps and how to read an MLS sheet. Now, as far as comps, the main thing that I want to get across is you can't really get comps online through Zillow or Trillia or Realtor.com. You can get comps through the MLS because the others, there is a delay, and you don't really get all the information. You should really be getting comps from your realtor, and you should ask your realtor for the actual MLS sheets, what they can email to you. Now, it's real popular in real estate right now to not send the actual MLS sheet out to clients. As a realtor, we get calls all day long from people wanting to sell us stuff. And the big thing now is to get jazzed up MLS sheets in different formats that are easier to read, have a lot of white space, have larger print, kind of like a dumbed down report. However, that doesn't give you all the information. And call me old fashioned, but I believe you need to know how to read the actual MLS sheet, because there's a lot of information that could be important to you in your search, and even if you're selling your house, you want to look and see exactly what the comp says, because no two properties are exactly alike unless they're in a development that has 2 or 3 different models, and in that case, it's a lot easier to price things out. So let's start first of all by saying that there are 2 MLS sheets. On the left, you'll see the customer report. On the right, you'll see the residential full report. The difference is the residential full report is the real estate agent's view. And as you can see, it has a little bit more information than the customer report. The reason is that most realtors, almost no realtors, will send out the residential full report because it has information of the other agent, the other brokerage, their phone number, their email address. So you're really not going to get the residential full report unless you've signed a broker's agreement, which in that case, then the real estate agent really has no qualms about letting you see information from the other realtor or even seeing the broker's remarks because you've made an agreement that you're going to go ahead and you're going to purchase through that agent. You feel comfortable with them, you trust them, et cetera, et cetera. So let me put my glasses back on and let's go through the report. Now, really right now, everything is the same on both reports until we get down to the very last section. So what you see first, it's a little bit cut off on the screen here, but you'll see the name residential full report to the left. Underneath that, you have the address, which I blacked out. This listing just came on the market yesterday. Across from the address, you'll see the MLS number, which I blacked out. To the right of that, you'll see the status. It could be either active, it could be pending, it could be conditioned on a either an inspection or a letter from the lender. It could be expired, it could be closed, it could be temporarily off the market. But as a buyer, what you are looking for in the status is active. As a seller, what you're looking for in comps is the status of closed, not pending, because that doesn't have a final price attached to it. And then next to that, to the right, you have the list price, the current list price as of today. Now go back over to the middle of the page and you'll see a row that says area. That is mostly for realtors to do searches. So area is a little bit bigger than a zip code. So an area probably has maybe 2 or 3 zip codes. The geo area in Palm Beach County, it's always going to be PB with a number. And that is a little bit smaller, but still bigger than a zip code. This is for realtors when they do searches. So it doesn't mean too much to the client or the customer. But the thing is, the person who enters it should always check and make sure it's right. Because if you make a mistake and people in another realtor is searching for your listing, it might not come up because you have either the wrong area or the wrong geo area in. The next category is the county, which in this instance is Palm Beach, and the parcel ID is under that. That's very important. You get that from the property appraiser's page, and the realtor and the seller want to make sure that the parcel ID and the address match up, because sometimes they don't, and that can cause a problem that will delay the closing. Subdivision. Sometimes there'll be a subdivision name there. Sometimes if it's in an unincorporated area, there won't be a subdivision or a development name. In this particular case, there was a subdivision that was listed. You can also do a search by subdivision. Model name. You'll see that in mostly in gated communities where builders have gone in and they've built 3 or 4 different models. So you can actually also search by model name. The list price per square foot, that's an important thing to look at. And as you change the list price up on the top, the list price per square feet will show up. And that's important because if you're in a development where all the houses pretty much look the same, or there might be just a few different models, that's one way people do appraisals. That's how they come up with the selling price. There's a spread. So let's say this one is 180.87 per square foot. That might be a very popular number. That might be the average selling price number. Usually those things have some variance in a development that has different models, different bathroom types. You can see some variance in that. When you get into a development, especially a gated community, you might not see a lot of variance in that unless somebody has a pool, if somebody is updated. A lot of houses are updated now, especially since we had the crash and a lot of properties were sold during foreclosures and short sales. They were bought by investors, they were renovated, and now they've been updated. Waterfront, yes, no, that's important. Some people are looking for a waterfront. Water frontage, if it's on the waterfront, then you want to put the frontage in there. Going over to the next category, type, single family detached. You know, there's single family detached, there's condos, there's townhouses, there are mobile homes. So there are 4 or 5 categories there. Range price, nobody really uses that anymore. That's you know, well, I'm looking for between 340 and 360. You know, nobody really uses that. Original list price, that's always going to be there to let you see whether there have been price drops or sometimes there are price increases. Dock, is there a lot dimensions? That's not always included. If it is, that's good to know. Dock is, if there's a dock, that's good to know. Private pool, that'll be a yes or a no. Total baths, garage spaces. These are all things, these are all items that you can search by. So if you're working with the realtor, let's say you want to live in this particular development and you want a 2-car garage. Well, these are all items that you can do the search by. Membership fee required? No. In this development, there is no membership fee, and it lists the schools. You don't always see that. Sometimes that will populate automatically. Next, underneath that, you will see the legal description. That comes from the property appraiser's page. And it's very important that the parcel ID and the legal description match because they don't always match. The next line is short sale, which is no. That's an important thing to know. And the next column is short sale add, which basically means a short sale addendum. And to the right of that, REO, no. That means, is this a foreclosure? Now, why are these important? Well, if it says short sale, yes, that tells you that there could be some time delay in closing, that this probably won't be a 30-day or under closing, mostly because of the paperwork that's involved in the approvals necessary. Now, if it says short sale yes, and it says short sale add no, that means that the seller is fishing for some prices to go back to their lender and say, I've gotten some offers in this price range. And then seeing if they can get the addendum signed by the bank to allow them to sell it for that price. If it says short sale add, which means addendum, yes, well, then that tells you they've already gotten approval to sell for this amount, so it should go quicker, but still not as fast as a regular transaction. REO, yes or no. REO means basically real estate owned, and it means foreclosure, and that's good to know because if it's yes, then the bank or the lender often has their own contract in their own process that you have to go through. And oftentimes it's a buyer beware. You're definitely buying as is, and there are no repairs that will be made. So as you can see, if you look to the right in the residential full report, there are really no differences between those two. So you're getting the same information that is available to the realtor. So let's go down to the next category. Okay. Let's make sure I have the right one here. Okay, here we go. And once again, the full report and the customer report are the same. So let's look at the first highlighted area, master bedroom. That's going to go away. These are required now. They didn't used to be required. So most listing agents would not put this information down. But when you're getting one of these short form MLS sheets, you're not getting this information. And this is important to know. Master bedroom, 15 by 12. Bedroom 2, 12 by 10. Bedroom 3, 11 by 10. These are pretty typical sizes. Living room, 17 by 13. Dining room, 10 by 10. Kitchen, 13 by 10. And family room, 18 by 11. Florida room, 32 by 11. Now, you're not going to get these dimensions with a short form listing report. And it's good to know that you have these rooms available to you. There's a family room. There's a kitchen. There's a full dining room. Full dining room. However, will your table and chairs fit in there? These are things you want to know because if it won't fit, do you really want to go look at the house? I mean, or maybe you want to look for a new dining room table. Let's go down to the category below that, square feet living and square feet total. Square feet living means under air. Square feet total includes the garage and could include the Florida room if it's not air conditioned. Bedrooms 3, baths total 2. That means 2 full baths. Age of roof, they didn't include that in here, but under the public remarks, which is further on down, it says roof installed 2001. So that should actually be up here, age of roof, because some people will do a search or have their realtor do a search by the age of the roof, because sometimes an older roof can't be financed. And if it's an older roof, then you're going to want to have either your inspector or your realtor look up and see if they can find any permits that were issued for that. Why is that important? Because sometimes you can't get a loan on an older roof and you can't get insurance on an older roof. It may require a roof inspection to certify that there's still 5 years, 10 years left on that roof. Maybe the roof was installed in 2001. The permit was pulled in 2000, but it was a 25-year roof. So it should still have some time left on it. That's pretty much up to the lender and the insurance company whether they'll still insure that roof. Owner agent, that's important. No, that's important to know. Is the seller of the house a real estate agent? Guest house, yes or no? In this case, it's not answered. Half baths, 0. Front exposure, west. Year built, 1973. So this is an older house. That means the inspection is going to be key. Property condition, resale. Property condition isn't really intended to tell you what shape the property is in. It's basically there to tell you whether it's a new sale or a resale. New sale is new construction. Pool size, 30 by 15. Pets allowed, yes. That's important for some people. And this is not difficult information to understand, but it can get overwhelming just looking at the whole sheet. In this case, this sheet is not totally full. because the listing agent did not include everything that they could have in this. So let's go down another line, and the first highlighted area is building number. Okay, that's a townhouse. I'm sorry, that's a condo, so it doesn't apply here. But if it was a condo, that's important information. Why is it important information? Because some condos, each building has their own condo association and different rules. So you need to know the actual building number. Total floors, stories. Some people are just looking for a single family, a single level house. So that's an important search item to some people. Total units in building. Once again, that's more for a condo or a townhouse. Total units in complex. That could be important to know. Is it a small complex? Is it a large complex? For a condo. Unit floor number, that's once again, that's a condo issue. Governing bodies, it says none here. Now, for this particular subdivision and development, there is a housing association. It's a voluntary, okay? And they don't really have any governing authority. Land lease, you get that mostly with mobile homes or modular homes. Age of roof, there's no date here. Once again, oh, I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong line. Governing bodies, none. Land lease, you get that with a mobile home. Recreation lease, you get that in large complexes that have facilities, and sometimes they charge you a monthly fee for that. Application fee, you will get that in a development that has a homeowners association, and you will get that in condos, and you will get that in townhouses. And the application fee could be anywhere from $50 to $200. In this case, there is no application fee because there is no governing body. HOA, POA, COA, that's a homeowners association, property owners association, and a condo owners association. Now, in this particular case, there is a property owners association. And the fees are voluntary. So that should be stated. And while it says monthly, a lot of places are going to have gone to quarterly. So you want to know what that number is, because if you're financing your house, that's part of the equation. How much is how much are the association fees, and what do they include? Brand name, that's pretty much for a new development. Mobile home size, that's pretty self-explanatory. Decal number, that goes along with the mobile home. If you don't have a decal on it, it's really hard to sell the mobile home because it's hard to track how old it was, et cetera, et cetera. Membership fee required, no. And in this case, a membership fee is not required. However, if membership fee required is yes, you want to dig a little deeper into that and see, is that an equity membership? Is it a mandatory fee? There's a lot more follow-up questions for that. Once again, serial number, that's not really applicable here. The tax year that they are quoting is 2019, and that's important to know because sometimes they post the year before. That is the most current tax year, and taxes, $4,189. That involves a little bit more follow-up. Now, that's what your loan will be based on those taxes. However, that might not be what the taxes are when you buy the house. It depends. With the new owner coming in, the taxes could go up. That person could have been there in that house for 15, 16 years. And with the state law, the taxes can only increase incrementally. However, when a new buyer comes in, all bets are off, and those property taxes, all the increases come into effect. And also, you won't get a homestead your first year. So there's a little bit more follow-up that's involved on those two items. Special assessment, no. So as far as they know, there are no special assessments. Sometimes that becomes important, especially in St. Lucie County. Is there going to be an assessment for sewer? Out in the acreage, is there going to be an assessment for road, for sewer? Those are important questions to know, and you don't always get that on the short form. So that pretty much takes care of the second category there. So let's move, and there were no differences between the full report and the customer report. So let's hop down to the next category that's highlighted. And we'll go all the way over to the left and start. And let me look and see if there are any differences here. There are no differences here between the full report and the customer report. So going to the left, the first highlighted item is design. This happens to be a ranch. Construction. This happens to be CBS, so it's concrete block and stucco. Different areas, you see different types of housing. Older houses in Lake Worth Beach are mostly wood. Flooring, that's helpful to know. It's concrete flooring with laminate. It's like pergo. Artificial wood, looks like wood. Easy to take care of. Is this furnished or unfurnished? Every once in a while, you'll run into a house that's furnished, and that involves some different arrangements that have to be made. Lenders don't lend on personal items, so they're not going to lend on furnishings inside the house. That has to be a separate deal. It can't be in the contract. That's something that your realtor will discuss with you. Dining area, does it have the dining hyphen living means it's kind of open together. Roof. Oh, guest house? No, there's no guest house. Roof, comp shingle means composite shingle. That's mostly what you see down here, unless you get into some of the developments when you see the concrete barrel tile, or in older houses, you'll see a flat roof, would be gravel and tar. So let's move over to the next column, same area, waterfront details. Well, in this, it's none because it's not on the waterfront. Views, is there a view? Well, this one has a garden and a pool where they have their own pool. So there is a view available to the pool. Private pool, it's an in-ground pool. It has the size, which is important. Security, there is no security. And if there is security, then the follow-up question is that included in my fees, monthly fees or quarterly fees? Cooling, central and wall window AC. So it looks like there was an addition put onto the house, and that addition doesn't have vents for the central AC unit. So there is a wall unit there. Once again, these are things that you don't see in the abbreviated listing report, and that's why it's important to be able to understand them. So heating is central, and it is electric. In this case, utilities, unless you're out in the acreage, you're going to have public water. This also has septic. So it has public water, but it doesn't have public sewer. So that also entails some more follow-up questions. One was the last time it was cleaned, or emptied. When's the last time it was inspected? And you will have to have a septic inspection done for financing. And if it's cash, you still want to get one done. Restrictions, even though there is a property owners association, there are no restrictions here. Once you get in developments or condos, then there will be some restrictions. Pet restrictions, once again, no restrictions here, but that comes into play for condos, townhouses, and especially gated communities. And it should be spelled out. HOPA is basically housing for older persons. Okay, so that's your 55 and over communities, which also have different restrictions, have deed restrictions, have other requirements. So no HOPA. So you don't have to worry about with this. That's more into your 55 and over communities. Boat services, it's not on the water. There's no dock. Guest house, once again, there is no guest house. Taxes, county only, and it's homesteaded, which means that homestead deduction will not apply for you for your first year. So your taxes are going to go higher. Now, your loan isn't going to be based on that, though. Your loan is going to be based on the taxes that the person that owns the house now is paying. So you just need to know that, you could be having a monthly shortfall, and you need to keep that in mind. Terms considered. This is important to know. On this particular house, they are accepting cash. They are accepting a conventional loan. They are accepting VHA, and they are accepting VA, which is good. They're accepting everything. However, that doesn't mean that the house qualifies for FHA and VA. They'll accept it, but it doesn't mean it qualifies. Why wouldn't it qualify? There could be some safety issues. It could be the roof. The roof could be too old, and FHA or VA won't insure it. Now, FHA and VA are different. Your realtor can help you with some of the requirements under VA and FHA, and basically they can tell during a walkthrough what items might not qualify under FHA. It adds a VA and FHA adds another layer of paperwork and bureaucracy onto the loan process. However, many lenders now can still close an FHA loan or VA loan in 30 days. The only hindrance there is that there has to be an actual appraisal / inspection. So FHA, who the lender will submit for an appraisal, which you will pay for, and they don't get to choose who comes out. Same with VA. It gets assigned to somebody, and they will come out and they will do a cursory inspection. Sometimes they go up on the roof, sometimes they don't. If, say, it's a small bungalow, and they can pretty much determine what's going on with the roof from the outside, they might not get up and look around. That's when you find out what needs to be fixed before the lender will approve it. So that's very important. That item is very important. Mobile features, that's for a mobile home. Equestrian features, well, that could be important. And that's an item that some people will search for, especially out in the acreage, in Loxahatchee and Wellington. People want to know, are there trails available, et cetera, et cetera. Let's skip down to I can see that I skipped one item. Let's go all the way to the left. In the first column, it says special info, sold as is. Sold as is a separate contract. There are two contracts that are approved by the Florida Board of Realtors, and the Florida Association of Lawyers. So they've come together, and it's called FAR-BAR. So there's a FAR-BAR as is, and there's the FAR-BAR regular contract. As is means you're buying the house as it is, no repairs. FAR-BAR means that they could pay from repairs. It's a whole totally different contract. What are the differences? As is, no repairs. Doesn't mean you can't negotiate any repairs, but basically it means that they don't have to, they're not going to fix anything. It also gives you an inspection period, could be anywhere from 5 to 15 days. And in that time period, that's when you can have your inspections done. And that's when you can back out of the transaction for any reason and still get your initial deposit back. The FAR-BAR contract specifies how much the seller is willing to contribute towards repairs. It could be a set amount or it could be a percentage. Let's say it's 3%, it's a $100,000 house, so they're willing to contribute $3,000 towards any repairs that might come up during your inspection. And if they agree to do that, then it's a deal. And there's no backing out for any reason. The other thing with an as-is contract is, let's say you're going FHA guaranteed loan or a VA guaranteed loan. Even though it's selling as is, the FHA appraiser, the VA appraiser / inspector might come up with some items that have to be fixed before the loan can be guaranteed. They might be simple items. It might be it needs a handrail in the front. It needs a handrail on the back porch. A couple steps need repaired. Maybe the AC isn't blowing out as cold as it should. Maybe it needs recharged. Maybe the refrigerator isn't cooling properly. It might need repaired or replaced. Now, the seller can refuse and start all over again. However, most mortgages are FHA guaranteed. So if they want to go back and sell it to an FHA person, which is the majority of buyers, they're going to need to fix those items anyway. And if it was an FHA appraisal, then those repairs that are needed are going to stick with the house until it's sold. So nobody else can get an FHA or VA guaranteed loan as long as those items are still outstanding. And that's whether it's an as-is or FAR-BAR contract. However, with the as-is now, with the FAR-BAR contract, let's say all those items come up to $3,000, less than $3,000. Well, the seller has already agreed to contribute $3,000. So there's the pot of money to go ahead and fix that. So the seller will go ahead and fix it or issue a credit. With the as-is, they don't have to do it. And they can just walk away. And then they can decide not to accept FHA or VA and just accept cash and convention. So those are the differences. And I skipped that. I wanted to make sure I went back to that because it's important. Let me see what our time here is. Well, we're already over time, so we're going to go a little bit late with this one, but I think it's important. So let's skip down to the next category, rooms. That just explains what rooms that are not ordinary rooms. So you have a cabana for this house, and you also have a laundry in the garage. That's important to know. Master bedroom, separate shower, that's going to go away. They're going to have another name besides master. Window treatments, there aren't any window treatments on this house. Maintenance fee includes. That's important to know. Does it include your cable? Does it include lawn maintenance? Does it include sewer? Does it include water? So it's important to be able to read that because as we're seeing here, well, first of all, there's no HOA, but if there was an HOA, it doesn't include anything. Equipment included. This is important And you have to make sure that all the equipment included here shows up on the contract to purchase or the offer to purchase. So on this one, it's garage opener, dishwasher, range, electric refrigerator, water heater. So you want to make sure that not only are those included in the contract, but when you do the walkthrough, those items are still there and they're the same items that were there when you initially viewed the house. Okay, private pool description, in ground, we already did that. That's up above. Parking garage attached. Lot description. So this is important to know. It's up to a half acre. It's a corner lot. There's a public road and there's sidewalks. Okay, it's important to know because it could be a private road. If there's a private road, then everybody's sharing in the cost of the road maintenance. If it's a public road, that's taxpayer expense. Exterior features, okay, it has auto sprinklers, it has a fence, it has a shed. The sprinkler is from the well, and it's a zone sprinkler. Okay, that's good to know. However, the interesting thing here is the shed. If the shed has electricity, it can't be leaking. Okay, so those are important things to know. Interior features, split bedroom. There could be other features there. Showing instructions. You don't see that on the customer report. So there's one difference there. And auction. You need to know if it's an auction or not, because if it's an auction, there could be other fees attached. Your realtor can help you with that. And if it's an auction, it might have a lockbox on it, or it might not. It might just be a certain day that you can go view the property. So that's an important thing to know and discuss with your realtor. That's all that's on here for this category. Let's move on to the last category. Directions. A lot of people aren't including directions anymore because everybody has GPS. And, you know, these instructions are pretty good, though. These instructions will get you to the street. Public remarks. Okay, this is what is going to show up on like Zillow or Realtor.com. It should show up. Spacious and updated 3-bedroom pool home and quiet non-HOA community. It's a non-HOA, but it's not a non-property owners association community. You're looking for space, blah, blah, blah. You will have the large 1/3 acre fenced shed included. The home features a split bedroom, blah, 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 Florida room. You know, that's all good to know. Tells you when the AC was installed, when the pool was installed, and when the roof was installed. Which is good to know because your inspector is going to want to know that, and they're going to want to dive a little bit deeper into that, see if they can find permits for those things, because if you had a pool and the permit wasn't closed out, that could cause issues down the line. Going below that line, what you'll see are sold price, sold date, sold price per square foot, days on market, terms of sale. Now, the only thing that's important to you as a buyer there is days on market. If you're using this listing as a comp, then you want to know what the sold price was, what the sold date was, what the sold price per square foot was, because, you know, in some communities, that's how you do your market value. And you also want to know terms of sale. Was it cash? Was it conventional? Was it FHA? Was it VA? And sometimes the sold price doesn't match up because there are concessions. And also it has the listing date. The very final thing you see is listing date. Now, if you look to the sheet on the right, you'll see that the real estate agent gets more information. He has the listing office's phone number. He has all their information. He has the commissions on there. It'll show whether there's a bonus or not. There's hardly ever a bonus. Variable rate, dual rate. That just means different commission structures. The owner name, Broker-only remarks. Usually that has showing instructions. Sometimes it could say that you have to sign a disclosure before you go in the house. That's an indication that there may be mold in the house. Any broker advertised? No. So they don't want this thing advertised by other brokers. So if you want to see the residential full report, there's really not much there more. Your agent might let you see it if you sign a buyer's broker agreement. That way you've agreed to already purchase with them. So it doesn't matter if you see the, the listing agent's information. Now, we went through that kind of quickly. I hope it was informative. This is going to stay up for a while, so you can go back and look through it. I think it's very important to be able to read the actual MLS sheet rather than some of these condensed sheets that are popular now. And if there are any questions, please feel free to give me a call, 561-340-9623. You can send me an email at tlreadgroup@yahoo.com, or you've obviously found us on Facebook. Just simply put a question in there and I'll review them and I'll get back to you. So once again, thank you for joining Tuesdays with Terry, and I hope you have a great night.